As much as I loathe Barack Obama, Mark Zuckerberg, Nancy Pelosi, George Soros, Mitt Romney, Justin Trudeau, George Clooney, Keir Starmer, Robert De Niro, and Gavin Newsom, I would never, ever even consider that any of these vile people should be harmed in any way, much less murdered in cold blood. Now, if any of that scum happened to slip on a banana peel and bruise their bum, well, I might have a chuckle or two. But justice for bad people, or even people perceived as bad, must be done in a court system. That's the way it works. If they've broken the law. And in public speech forums if they express reprehensible ideologies. If we decent people don't like what they say, then we rebut them in free speech so that their feelings may be the only thing getting hurt. Any person with a half pint of personal dignity would agree with me on this point. Violence against innocent people, no matter how much you dislike them or what they say, is not just inexcusable. It is criminal conduct. If that violence is actually murder, then it is monstrous, cowardly conduct deserving of the death penalty upon conviction. This motherfucker is just such a monstrous coward. Authorities claim that this guy is their subject. We don't know yet whether they have the right assassin, but that hasn't stopped the lefty, misanthrope, whiny baby, toddler totalitarians from coming to this guy's defense, salivating over him and proclaiming the murderous deed righteous. In the moments after the murder of the United Healthcare exec, the company issued a statement on Facebook about Brian Thompson's death, and within minutes, the comments section lit up, with 41,000 people issuing laugh emojis, folks, celebrating the assassination. The company had to quickly turn off the comment section. And then you've got the wacko women who fall for these killers and suspected murderers, like this nut job.
Did anyone else see the photos of our missing man and think, like, you have a really nice smile, and like, I think we have a lot of things in common, and I don't know, I just have like a really cute idea for our first date, so hit me up.
Or an American communist making excuses for murderous outrage.
But what I think has happened in the last few months is that what you have seen rising up is people's anger at a health insurance industry which denies people the health care that they desperately need while they make billions and billions of dollars in profit.
If you're a decent person and don't want to be sick to your stomach at the dregs of humanity speaking their mind on this subject, then you don't want to visit Reddit, where you'll see comments like this. Hey, he denied life-saving drugs to people, got what he deserved. Or, fuck this shit man. Elsewhere, the murderer was called a hero or Robin Hoodie. One little fascist toad named Taylor Lawrence, who used to vomit for the New York Times and Washington Post, stated that people are mad at the healthcare industry, and then she pondered, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. She followed that up quickly with a typical leftist lie to cover her smelly ass. No, that doesn't mean people should murder them. Yeah, right, sure it does. That's what all these dumpster rats believe. So what the hell is going on inside these sordid humans' minds? It's not just the usual leftist schadenfreude, giggling at the destruction of benevolence and decency and fairness and the work ethic in our world. It's much more sinister. It's a lack of conscience. It's the complete mental absorption of the leftist victim ideology so that the human mind surrenders its own self-governance and respect, believing itself a captive to external events and external people who are always the villains. It is indeed the villain mindset. My wretched life is someone else's fault. This is in fact what leftist ideology is. The explicit or implicit statement that human beings are wretched animals, unworthy of existence, and certainly unworthy of confidence and self-respect and wealth and happiness. One of the ironies of this misanthropic ideology is that the psychopaths who believe it also believe that they are in fact not one of the wretched, and instead are one of the messiahs of retribution, or one of the acolytes who praise the messiahs for their assassinations. The human conscience is created by rational introspection and responsibility, taking charge of your life and assuming control of your thoughts and actions. The conscience is developed over time by being in command of your own agency, your own goodness and thoughtfulness. You create a moral identity that is proud of itself. Leftists lack this proud conscientiousness. They believe they are perpetual victims of capitalism or alleged racism or sexism or it's a man's world or whatever. But victims surrender their self-agency, their self-respect, their self-control, their own rational guidance. It is for them impossible to have self-esteem, to have a conscience. So when a healthcare CEO is walking down the street and is assassinated in cold blood from behind, the leftist psychosis without a conscience kicks into full gear. The man was not a man. He was one of the villains that preys on us victims, allegedly. He deserved to die miserably on a cold, dark street, and his killer is our Messiah, our courageous hero. Facts in such cases don't matter. Facts don't matter to the victim mentality. It doesn't matter that Brian Thompson never forced anyone to take the insurance that his company offered and knew full well the rules guiding that insurance. He never coerced anyone to be a customer of his company. They could have gotten insurance somewhere else or had no insurance at all, like me. But it doesn't matter to the victim-obsessed misanthropes. They eradicated their conscience years ago. They are, in a sense, no longer fully human, since it is our human conscience that primarily separates us from the lower animals. What do they care that Brian Thompson had a wife and kids and loved fried chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy? What would they care if the man loved to give some of his wealth to children's charities or gave his kids rides on his broad shoulders while at the park? To those who lack a conscience, he's no longer a man. He's the object of obsessive hatred, venting its spleen widely at humanity itself, and in this case against a man who was not only rich, but allegedly rich off the backs of those who were denied what they demand to be entitled to from the health industry. But no, you're not entitled to a goddamn thing in life, except for what you work for and what you negotiate for. That's what the decent person says. The person who has developed and nurtured a good conscience, who likes him or herself, who likes people, who takes responsibility for their own life and actions. My thoughts go out to Brian Thompson and his family.